Here are the best team ups for Season 0 of Marvel Rivals. The very best team up in the game right now in high rank by far is Hulk and Iron Man's combination. It also empowers Strange, who's also one of the best tanks in the game. So you got Strange, who's a great brawl poke tank just because he can shield. But then you also have Hulk, which is an incredible dive tank, which people will struggle with a little bit in lower ranks, but in higher ranks he's disgusting. But the main point of all of this is it enables Iron Man to be the very best DPS in the game. His output is disgusting and he can melt tanks in seconds. It gets banned almost every single game, and I despise it. The next best team up in S rank, in my opinion, is the Guardian team up, and this gives them multiple lives. If you have a really, really good Star-Lord, he can be a pain. Mantis is a disgusting support, if not the best support, definitely the second best support. And then you have Adam Warlock, who's a pretty solid support as well, but he does struggle a little bit with dive. It doesn't matter when you have 3 lives though, because they can res each other for a second life, and then Warlock can ultimate again if he has good positioning to give everybody another life, making all these picks happen on this team obsolete. In the A tier, I'm going to put Chilling Charisma because it makes Namor even better. Luna Snow is the best support in the game with the best ultimate in all of the game, and Namor is one of the best anti-dive heroes in the game, one of the best duelists in general, just because he can shut down so many people like Spider-Man, Panther, Magic, all those dive heroes that are really strong. He helps absolutely eliminate. This is incredibly strong because it gives Namor that ice turret, which just makes him so much better, having a third turret that you can put out, and not only a third turret, but an empowered turret with a ton of health. This thing is so good. It needs to be the first one in A tier. If you didn't know the power of Namor already, consider yourself warned. He's really, really good, and he'll help you climb against those dive heroes. Immediately following that, and potentially tied with that, is going to be the ammo overload. Enabling Punisher to have unlimited ammo on his AR and his shotty is disgusting, although I don't think it helps benefit nearly as much Winter Soldier. Having his unlimited ammo on his revolver is all right, but he just has way more value of using his kit for the pull, knockback into your team. I'd rather have my Winter Soldier focused on that than just unloading whereas I want my Punisher absolutely devastating enemy shields and Groot walls and stuff like that, making so their tanks are virtually obsolete in the front line while that is out. It's a ton of play in high rank, and it's pretty much the only time you'll really want to rock it. I'm putting this deeper in the A tier because you just don't see it happen as much, and let me explain why. Hela having the rebirth with Loki and with Thor is great and all, but you rarely see Hela get played because she gets banned so much in high rank. So this rarely happens. Loki is a great support, and he can be played in high rank, especially if you have like a Luna Snow or a Mantis, so he can copy and use their defensive ultimates. But Thor can also be good, but he is not a great tank one. He definitely plays better when somebody is able to focus shield him or provide something like Magneto to keep him in the fight a little longer. But you can backline a lot with Thor, and he's actually pretty strong. But like I said, just the fact that she gets banned so frequently kind of makes this one a little less impactful. On a similar vein, I'm going to put Allied Agents up here. And this is that combination between Hawkeye and Black Widow. Honestly, Widow is just not that good right now, but since a lot of the time the hit scans do get banned in these higher ranks, she's playable for sure, especially against like an Iron Man. But I will say Hawkeye, although he gets banned 24/7, if he has this team up and gets that 20% additional damage, it is disturbingly disgusting. Me as a Strange main, I can't put a shield out for more than 3 seconds without it getting demolished, especially if this team up is happening. And the fact that you have to pull out Widow just isn't the best kind of character you want on your team at all times. In the B tier, we're going to start with Dimensional Shortcut, and that is that combination between Panther and Magic. And this is why it's in B. Although it is really strong, it gives them health back, or it gives them actually temporary health based on how much they've lost when they use that teleport backwards. It is kind of rough because if you're running both of those DPS on one comp, the enemy team just has to go something like Star-Lord or Iron Man, and they really won't struggle too much because they'll be in the sky so much. So having those two, although can be really strong, especially if you're running a 3 DPS comp, it's pretty counterable with getting in the sky and making sure that these two have way less value. Metallic Chaos. This is going to be that combination between Scarlet Witch and Magneto. And Magneto does get that sword, but this used to be the by far strongest team up in the game during the beta, but it has been heavily nerfed. It used to take out enemies in 2 swings, and now it's roughly 3 to 4 if they're not even getting healed at all. This team up is all right in the higher ranks, but it's not incredible because Scarlet Witch just really doesn't see that much play. It can be useful to team up with something like a really good Magneto, but it's not 100% guaranteed to give you that free win that it used to be. After that, in the B rank, we have Voltaic Union, and this one is difficult because it's a team up between Cap, Thor, and Storm, and although it makes Cap significantly stronger, running Cap Thor isn't always the best team comp unless you're going full dive, and even so it's a little difficult because Thor's so much slower. And Storm, although she has a pretty strong ultimate, has been significantly nerfed as to where she was in the beta. She was a must play in a lot of these tournaments in the beta, and now she's not seeing nearly as much play. So running those three consecutively can be tough, especially without having any sort of shield to help out with. Storm can kind of dance behind or draw a lot of fire. So I will say that this team up is lower in the B, but I can see some utilization as it does make Storm better, it makes Cap better, and it makes Thor a little bit better. The symbiote bond is going to be at the end of B tier, and that's simply because, honestly, there's a lot of hard counters for Spider-Man in high rank, and this really enables Spider-Man. It doesn't do too much for the tanks, giving them that damage reduction while they're using that spiky AoE symbiote ability, but it's just not that useful really for those guys. For Spider-Man, it's good because it enables a one-tap combo, but Spider-Man can be very hard countered by things like a solid Namor, where it just absolutely shuts Spider-Man down. So although it enables the one-shot combo for him, there's just such hard counters for him in the game right now. I don't see this being that useful. I'm going to put at the end of B tier here some other team ups that I think are all right, and they do a little bit for the squad, but they don't do too much, enough to win you the game, so it's nothing you should really force. First, we're going to do Lunar Force, which is going to be that team up between Cloak and Dagger and Moon Knight. And although it does give Moon Knight this invisibility field, you know, it really highlights the location you're at, so it does leave you open to dive. People are going to see it and know exactly where you are. It does enable, I believe, you to not be seen by Namor's turrets, which is an advantage, but a lot of the time, if you're playing Moon Knight, you're on off angles, dropping in, trying to get onks from positions that no one sees you at in the first place, so putting a giant bubble there to showcase where you're at is a little bit tricky. You can use it to try to protect and pretend that you're at a different location, but I don't see it being that impactful. In a similar vein here for Spider-Man and Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Girl and Spider-Man just aren't a great team up to begin with. They provide two totally different things, where they have dive and then more of a brawl or poke comp with Squirrel Girl. It enables Squirrel Girl to have an even longer lockdown, but a lot of the times she's struggling with landing that lockdown, especially on a ton of mobility in this game or shields that are going to stuff that anyway, so it just doesn't have that much value. And lastly, for the B tier, I'm going to throw Atlas Bond, which is that one between Luna and Iron Fist. Iron Fist in low ranks absolutely dominates and is a pub stomper, but as you climb ranks, struggles because teams know to stack, and Iron Fist doesn't do a great job taking on teams by himself. He has no real team wipe ability, but he's great in 1v1s. He just doesn't do what other heroes do. Like Magic can take on those teams in pseudo tanks, where Iron Fist has one block ability, and then he struggles after that to really get any picks if the team is looking at him. And last but not least, in the C tier, which I just think are absolutely useless right now, is going to be the Planet X pals on Groot. You know, teams can really focus and burn those guys off Groot's shoulders. And right now with the season 0, Groot already has the bonus, the extra HP bonus, so he doesn't get anything else from these two. I wouldn't put them on his shoulders. The damage reduction is one thing, but teams will learn how to fight that and handle that, exile you and leave the support super vulnerable and stuff like that. So it's just really not that strong right now. And same with the fastball special, although it's hysterical and it's a ton of fun to use for Wolverine, who I'm now seeing get a lot more play in these higher ranks because he can be really strong in the right hands, very difficult to get value with, but he's super, super impactful in the right hands on tank busting, especially into like a Groot. The way you want to play Wolverine now is you want to sneak behind the front line and then push them into your back line, and throwing him visually in front of everybody into the back line is just very obvious. I could see some use if you're throwing him into an off angle in a corner somewhere, but this is a team up, all in all, really not that useful. That's going to do it for the team up tier list for season 0. If you like this kind of content, hit that follow button, like, subscribe, shares, all that stuff means the world to me. We'll also be going live. We're currently GM1 about to hit eternity. I'd love for y'all to drop in and say what's up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.